So to begin today, I would like to talk about the idea of how tatting looks. Most people who are unfamiliar with tatting sometimes confuse crochet with tatting because they do look similar if they're done in a small, fine gauge thread. Most people who have heard the term tatting are usually thinking of tatted lace edging that was used on handkerchiefs and pillowcases many years ago. But this type of tatting is done in very fine weight thread, so it looks very delicate. I would like to make a demonstration of the difference between crochet and tatting. This is just a simple crocheted sample doing double stitches. And as you can see, all I'm doing is looping the thread and pulling it through the stitches. And most people who are familiar with crochet and knitting understand that looped yarn pulls out very easily. This is the main difference between crochet and tatting. Crochet, very easily pulled apart. Tatting, once you close the rings, you are not going to open them again easily, and they are not going to be pulled apart. These are just simple tatted rings, just the same as these are simple tatted rings. So if you can understand what that means, these are extremely strong because they are all comprised of knots. Crochet is just looped thread stitches, looped yarn stitches or thread. Tatting is the rings and chains are comprised of all knots. Very difficult to pull out. Okay, to return to the topic I was talking about yesterday, the three-dimensional roses, I'd like to show how to make one layer of those roses in an attempt to answer a question that was posed after that video. Someone asked, is a stiffener or wire required to hold the shape of the flower? And the answer is no. Because the tatting stitches are pulled so tightly together, even though the rings are made of thread, they do not require stiffening. To highlight this, I'll show you when I am making these layers to get them to cup. After I'm finished, I will take the end of a Sharpie and I will push that into shape. As you can see, delicacy really doesn't have anything to do with it. It's more about how it looks. Okay, so to show how to make that one layer, and that is the 3-5-3 layer. And to explain my little notation here, you're making a simple ring of 3 double stitches, 5 double stitches, 3 double stitches, 3, 5, 3. The plus signs indicate where you are joining them, joining the picots together, and the times 3 equals 3 rings total. So again, this is a rings only pattern. So you're going to start with your first ring. 1, 2, 3, picot, 2, 3, 4, 5, picot, close the first ring, and you see how tightly I am pulling on that. And this is size 3 thread, but it is the same construction as size 80 thread. So pulling on the rings to close them creates a very strong base. Okay, the second ring. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Picot, 2, 3. Close that. All right. Now, for this last ring, you have to join to the first picot, excuse me, and to the last picot here. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and I just realized that I have forgotten my crochet hook. So I'm going to make this join differently than I showed you how in the previous video. When I showed you how to join the picots, I told you to lay your picot that you need to join over your thread using your crochet hook or your shuttle, and come in from the back, twist around, and bring your thread through. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that, which is why I usually use a crochet hook when doing this. So if the join is not going to show and you don't care that it's twisted, you don't have to twist it. So you can just join it with it lying flat. So you join just as before, put your shuttle through there, pull it up, make your last 3 stitches. Put your ends of the ring together, and because you're going to be shaping this later, it's okay if you just pinch everything together, hold it tightly, and pull that ring closed. And this is why I like to use my Sharpie to shape this. because then you get the cup. And as I said, because these joins are going to be hidden, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but that last join, that last picot is twisted because I didn't twist it during construction. It's now twisted in the finished layer. But there's your third layer of the rose. Okay. And then the process would be you make the rest of your layers. And then assemble them. Now you can add a wire if you are going to add a stem. But if you're just going to sew the roses to a piece of fabric, you don't need wire in the rose itself. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching.